Well, hello, welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us again as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. As we closed our last reading, we saw that the stage was set for this cycle of apostasy, oppression, deliverance, and rest to begin in Israel. Today we're going to follow through three of those cycles. Well, actually, arguably four. It's not entirely clear whether one of these is a cycle or just an event that occurred during one of the other cycles. Just the same, our reading begins with words that we're going to become quite familiar with. Israel did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God and served the Baals and the Asherahs. Well, the anger of God burns against them for their apostasy, and the Arameans are given to oppress them. So for 8 years, Israel is subject to the Arameans before they are called out, before they call out to God. Well, they probably started calling out to God early in that, but before God answers their prayer and raises up a deliverer for them, a deliverer whose name is Othniel. Now, Othniel is the son of Caleb's younger brother. The Spirit of God comes upon him. He leads Israel to victory over the Arameans. And so long as Othniel lives, Israel does what is right in the sight of God. But when after 40 years he dies, Israel again falls into apostasy. This time, God uses the Moabites to oppress Israel. Israel became subjects of the Moabites. They were subjected to them for 18 years. God raised up Ehud, a left-handed man, to deliver Israel. Now, there's a little bit of mystery surrounding Ehud. There may be more than meets the eye, I guess, to this particular person. See, Ehud develops a plan to smuggle a weapon into the king's chambers and to get a loan with the king of the Moabites when the tribute is being delivered. Now, we're not exactly told how Ehud is able to avoid being searched by the king's bodyguards. And that's where there may be a little bit more going on here than we recognize. But he's successful in doing that, and he's successful in killing the king and then escaping. And then he leads Israel, and he calls all of Israel together, and he leads them in battle against this coalition that the Moabites had put together. And God delivers the Moabites and all those allied with her into Israel's hands, and Israel again has peace for 80 years. Now, at some point, possibly during those 80 years, another hero, Shamgar, is raised up to keep the Philistines at bay, at least for a time. You'll see when you read that he has this tremendous feat of killing many Philistines with just an ox goad or basically a stick. After Ehud dies, Israel again falls away from God, does evil in God's sight, and then Israel is once again delivered into the hands of an enemy. This time it's the hands of the Canaanites. They're subject to the Canaanites for 20 years. And then God raises up Deborah, a prophetess, to speak God's word, to speak through her, and she is also then a judge. Deborah sent for Barak to lead the people of Israel against the Canaanites according to God's command. But Barak refuses to go unless Deborah comes with him. Well, Deborah agrees that she'll go with him, but she tells Barak that the glory for victory in this battle is going to go to a woman, not Deborah, but it's going to go to a woman rather than to Barak, because he refused to do as God commanded him without her at his side. Well, God guides Barak to victory, just as he said he would, through Deborah. The general of the Canaanite army, Sisera, flees, and he seeks refuge in the tent of what he thinks is an ally. Jael is the woman of the tent. She's the wife of the man who owns the tent, who doesn't happen to be there at the time. She gives Sisera shelter. But when he's asleep, she kills him by driving a tent peg through his skull. So just as Deborah foretold, the credit for victory went to a woman, because when Israel then comes looking for him, they come to her tent, and they, of course, find him there dead at her hand. Chapter 5 then goes on with the text of a song that's sung by Deborah and Barak in celebration of the victory. The chapter then ends declaring that Israel once again has peace for 40 years. So we see that cycle, as I say, for sure there were 3 times that we went through the cycle. When we gather again tomorrow to read, we're going to be at yet another cycle. So this is going on and on in the life of Israel through the time of the judges. May God be with you, bless you. I pray that your reading is beneficial and that you're learning and growing through it.